fusion, manufacturing, whatever you want to call it. This is Josh, your host, Great at Customs. In part one, I broke down our chopped carbon fiber and our beautiful magenta metal flake that we're using as a base for our wall art slash clock. Part two, we're going to see how far we get. Like I said, my phone has been overheating a lot, so it's time for an upgrade, but we're going to push through this and get it done. Just going to take a few parts. So I used a combination of spray tack and the surface coat to stick all of our carbon fiber on our metal flake down. What's going to come up next is our flow material. This is a product called Rovicore. It's got 2 layers of fiberglass and a foam core, so it transfers resin extremely well. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to give this a light coat of that spray tack, and we are going to put it down on the back of our carbon fiber. So you don't need to use fiberglass. This is literally a cosmetic thing, so we're not concerned about weight on this particular part. If I was concerned about weight in terms of doing like a race car part or something fancy, we would be using more layers of carbon fiber. But for what we're doing with this one, this is going to work fantastic. And I'm going to keep that about 1/2 inch off the edge. And we're going to start in the center, push down very, very carefully. We don't want to just disturb that base layer. If we can help it, we want to keep that nice and tight. Okay, that looks beautiful. We're going to take a pair of regular fiberglass scissors. You want to invest in a pair of really nice scissors if you're doing composite fabrication. Nothing is worse than having junky Target brand or Walmart brand scissors. It just does not cut through the fiberglass materials. So this stuff makes very, very, very quick work of going through any fiberglass, any carbon fiber. There is a special shear used for Kevlar, but since we're not doing Kevlar, it's all good. Give that a nice stick down. Like I said, there is a little bit of spray tack on here, so that's going to help this stay in place. During our trimming and layup procedures. This Rovicore is kind of special because it is a reinforced fiberglass with a core material. I don't need to use a flow media, which would be pretty standard for a fiberglass lamination. But the Rovicore acts as a flow media, which is very, very, very cool. If you need to get some, you can get it at Express Composites in Minneapolis. As far as I know, they're the only supplier in the country that sells it by the yard. A lot of places sell it by the roll, but for hobbyists and project guys, you don't really need to get a full roll of Rovicore. So hit up my friends over at Express Composites if you're interested in getting this product. Okay, so what I got going on here is this is going to be my feed side. The resin's going to run across the part, and we're going to have a vacuum manifold on this side. And we're going to try to keep this as clean as we can. So now to protect this and make sure our vacuum bag comes off, I've got what's called a peel ply. And this is a Teflon coated peel ply, so it's very, very, very slippery. Very slippery. This is going to be a clock. This is based on a Land Speed Racing wheel cover, and this is going to be a clock. So we've got some chopped carbon fiber, some very cool metal flake, So it'll be a combination of chopped carbon fiber and magenta metal flake going down. And this is my job. I am a carbon fiber manufacturer and aspiring artist. So aspiring furniture design and interior design artist. So I do a lot of race car fabrication. As a matter of fact, I have a dashboard mold for a S13 Nissan right there that is ready to start making parts very, very soon. I've also got a pair of rocker panels that I'm working on for a 70 Chevelle. So I do all kinds of custom composite manufacturing. There you go. Gray Duck Customs. I got just a little bit of gray. So there we go. So I'm going to use a little bit of our Air Tack spray tack here. We're just going to do a light mist coat on the peel ply because, like I said, this stuff is very, very, very slippery. Almost nothing sticks to it, and that is the idea, is that it will come right off the vacuum bag material once you're all set with your fabrication. And so with this, I'm literally just going to drop this down, start in the center again, like we always do. Going to work our way out. I don't care if there's a couple wrinkles here and there. That's not the end of the world, especially on a simple part like this. And we are going to run this basically around the Rovicore as much as we can, like so. I've got a very fancy electric shear, and we are going to come back and we're going to do a little bit of trim work on our peel ply there. When I do vacuum and resin infusions, I want to try to keep the peel ply off of the edge just a little bit. So if you can try to keep that off about a ½ inch, that's going to assist you in your layup later on down the line. This one we're going to run a little bit further. Like so. So there's our peel ply layer. What I like to do when I do a resin infusion is I will add a second layer of peel ply basically from the edge of my infusion to where my vacuum manifold stands out. We're just gonna hit that with a little bit of spray tack there. And this is gonna assist in keeping the air channel open. A lot of people think that a vacuum infusion is actually a sucking force, like an actual commercial vacuum. That's not the case. How much money do I make from this? I do okay. These clocks I'm selling for about $300 to $400, depending on how they're optioned out with clear coat, graphics, et cetera, what kind of clock mechanisms we have. So I do not drive a Lamborghini, but I eat. How's that sound? I have a roof over my head and food in my belly. Life is good. So there we go. Next step of the stage we're going to do is this is going to be my resin feed line. And this is just a plastic hose. This is standard spiral wrap is what they call this. And this is going to be on our input side here. So what I've got going on here, a little bit of yellow tape to keep this stuck down. Can you guys see that corner? Yeah, you can see that corner. Okay, good deal. You can definitely see that corner. Love your channel. Thank you. If you see some of the shorts I have, like I said, I do a lot of race car fabrication type parts. I do a lot of mold making. Some of my clients, I'm not allowed to show their work because I signed a non-disclosure agreement. So some of the stuff you guys don't get to see, but that is the nature of the beast. There's a lot of very high-tech companies that don't want their products being shown on the internet, and they also don't want people knowing who makes it for them. So that's kind of a bummer, but it's part of the game. So there's our resin feed line. Sometimes I'll take some tape or some PO ply and I will just tape this resin feed line down. I don't want this to move anywhere once we start our infusion, so it doesn't take a whole lot to just put a piece of tape right over it to keep it in place, right? Easy cheesy. And then I'm going to take another piece of our peel ply here. And I'm going to cover that resin feed channel. So when I cover the resin feed channel, I'm doing this for basically one reason. I want to make sure that the vacuum bag does not go in between those little slits. That would be catastrophic if you catch a vacuum leak because the bag has been compromised due to, you know, a sharp corner or something like that, right? So I try to always minimize the sharp corners for our vacuum bag. And so by covering the feed channel, we're able to make sure that stays nice and smooth. No bag leaks. Just like so. So now when I put my plastic bag on top of this, there's no way the plastic bag can go inside that spiral wrap. I've been doing this long enough where that has happened before, and that is a real bummer when everything goes wrong. Real bummer when everything goes wrong. Have to leave now. Thank you, Gretchen. I'll catch you later. Okay, so now we've got our feed side taken care of. The next step of the game is going to be our vacuum side. This particular product is called a membrane vacuum manifold. And what it is I got a spare chunk of this somewhere. There we go. So this is a spiral wrap piece of plastic that's wrapped in a very special plastic sheeting, basically. So this allows air to pass through, but it blocks the fluid. So when your resin flows across the part, it will hit the vacuum manifold and it will stop the resin flow. Very, very simple. Again, my friends over at Express Composites sell this stuff. So anything that you guys see here on the videos, you can get at Express Composites. They are my local go-to fabrication supply shop. I've been doing business with them for 25 years. So they've got everything that you need to be creative and be an artist. Ooh, I almost forgot one thing. Excuse me just a second here. There we go. So before I put my vacuum manifold down, I'm going to put what's called a core mat down. This is a product called Soric. It's 3 millimeters thick. And what I do is I basically put this wherever my vacuum manifold is going to go. And this helps guarantee that I'm going to have a really good air channel for my resin to flow through. Once the resin starts flowing, it's going to hit the end of the fabric and it's going to basically force its way through. But when it hits this channel, I want to make sure that it stays open long enough to actually fully saturate the part. So we give this a very, very liberal coating of spray tack. stick this sucker down. And I typically try to keep this off of the edge of the part about 2 to 3 fingers wide, right? That would be what's considered a resin break. So once the resin starts cruising across there, it's going to hit that wall. It's going to force its way through that peel ply, and then it's going to end up hitting our vacuum manifold like so. So we're going to do the same thing with this one that we did with the feed side. Going to get that stuck down. And I'm going to stop the video here after I get this stuck down before I do my, all right, so check that out. So I have contamination on my tape here. You do not want that. So I want to cut that off. I want to make sure that all your gum tape is very, very, very clean. Very, very critical. The last thing you want is to have a stray fabric underneath your gum tape. It will affect your vacuum bag. So once I'm done getting this stuck down, once I'm done putting this in place, I'm going to cut the live and then come back on and do another live for our vacuum bag. Like I said, I want to keep this doing multiple sections. I want to make sure that the phone doesn't shut off mid-progress. There we go. So now that's stuck. And the same rule applies. I do want to make sure that the vacuum manifold doesn't go anywhere, so I'll just get some simple tape. We're going to tape this in place like so. Just so it stays right on that Soric core material there. That's exactly where we want it. There we go. So, part 2. We are complete on part 2. I'm going to take a quick break. I am making another disc bow. Yeah, this one's got purple metal flake, or I should say magenta metal flake. This stuff looks fantastic, dude. This looks really cool. If only I knew a land speed racer that wanted some magenta metal flake wheel discs. How cool is that, huh? This stuff is beautiful. Really beautiful. So yeah, I'm going to hop off live here for just a few minutes. I'm going to get my vacuum bag material ready. But what we have going on here is we've got our feed line all prepped out. We've got our flow material. We've got our peel ply. We've got our vacuum manifold. So this is what it should look like before you put your vacuum bag down. And like I said, I'm going to hop off live here for just a few minutes. I'm going to let the phone cool down. I'm going to get my vacuum bag ready, and then we'll do the next process on the next live. So if you're still around in like 15, 20 minutes, hop back on. I'll catch you guys in a minute.